different winners this season. This dash to turn 1 is typical. Winner of that first lap drag race, Irv Pierce, who kept his AMC Spirit out front most of the way, chased by Dave Lemon and Chuck Ulinski's blue number 35. But Ulinski got by Lemon and then put an inside move on Pierce and roared on to victory. Ulinski becomes the 7th different winner this season. Pierce fell out with mechanical trouble. The Kelly American Challenge came under the green flag like the Oklahoma Land Rush. Gene Felton out front for less than a lap, chased by Tommy Riggins' yellow Camaro inside, Clay Young in the middle, and by Craig Carter, whose number 56 Camaro has won all but one series race this year. Riggins grabbed the early lead when Felton had trouble, but he soon found his mirrors filled with blue and yellow as Carter closed in. Riggins fought vainly to hold off the onslaught, but by lap 13, the Marion, Indiana native Carter had taken command. 9 seconds, his eventual margin of victory. Carter set a new course record for Kelly cars, averaging over 100 miles an hour. Camel GT feature, John Paul Jr.'s all-new home-built star-spangled Porsche confronted Danny Ongayas, Daytona's Paul Revere 250 winner. But at the start, wily veteran John Fitzpatrick dazzled everyone, slipping between Paul and Ongayas into the lead. Fitzpatrick looked strong, built a narrow advantage over Paul, Ongayas, Ted Field, and Rick Mears, making his first IMSA appearance in a reworked factory Ford Mustang. Fitzpatrick, back to the form that won him the Mid-Ohio and Lime Rock rounds of the series, steadily pulled away from the field until disaster struck the J. David-sponsored camp. The British star forced to the pits, broken fuel injector. That left Paul out front all alone in his radical new Porsche number 18. Behind him, Ongayas and Mears had a rousing battle for second until Mears' suspension let go, leaving Ongayas to chase after Paul, who then held a 30-second advantage. But when the young Georgian suddenly came to the pits, his Porsche thirsty for fuel, the door was open for Ongayas. Throughout that time-consuming stop, Danny gobbled up the deficit. The JLP crew hustling watched the guy with the red fuel can, and it paid off. Paul sped out of the pits just as Ongayas turned onto the front straight 3 seconds behind. But for Paul, that tense moment was short-lived. The new car had less than 15 laps of testing on it, but it worked like a charm, and the ever-modest John Jr. pulled away to a 17-second margin of victory. Whether you like working on these historic gems or driving one of them, the cars of this, the Great American Road Race, are a race fan's history book. Some are easily recognized. Steve Cohen's Porsche 907, the last 907 built. This car raced the famed Spa, Nürburgring, and Le Mans circuits. Others not so famous, a 53 Effie with a 500cc motorcycle engine. And these guys really do race. Here, Cohen leads Charlie Gibson's green and white McLaren, and that orange McLaren is the M5B in which Denny Hulme dominated Can-Am racing years ago. Gibson's McLaren, a 68 M6B. Oops, look out, Charlie. That could get expensive. The open-wheel cars also had a name or two. Jim Buckland's 1960 BMC, a classic Formula Junior car. In these forerunners of Formula 3, such stars as Jack Brabham, Jim Clark, and Graham Hill learned their trade en route to becoming the world's best Formula 1 drivers. But on this day, Jim Lloyd was the best man in his 1963 Lotus Formula Junior with the original paint scheme and number worn by Jim Clark. And memories of America's road racing heyday were brought back by the Ford GT40, Detroit's finest motorsports creation. The GT40 Mark II reached the pinnacle of America's racing success abroad, and on this day, Larry Parker's Mark II is the class of the field.